The evolution of your marketing will be the catalyst for the evolution of your business, and the evolution of your business will provide you with the freedom to focus on the evolution of your life. This is Evolved Marketing with Andre and Brian.
Welcome back to another episode of Evolve Marketing Podcast. I'm here with my co-host Brian Brewer, and today we have a very special guest. She's been doing affiliate marketing for about a year now, and when she first started, her goal was only to make $500 a month, an extra $500 a month. Now, look back a year later, now she's making 20K a month. So that's super incredible. And she has an amazing story that I can relate to because I am also an immigrant coming to the United States. But I don't want to ruin for you guys, so I want to hear from her. So let's welcome to the show, Steffi.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me on here. It's such an honor. I've been listening to your show for a long time, ever since Dave mentioned it on his Wake Up show. And people that you interview, those are people who are doing exceptionally well. And then Andre, you reached out to me, I told you like straight out, I was nervous. Are you sure you want to invite me? But Tom, my partner, he was like, you should go for it. So just want to say huge thank you. You guys both are people who I look up to when I started this journey. So thank you. So yeah, a little bit about myself. You hit the point there, Andre. So so just to back up a little bit, I came to the US when I was around 16 years old. I was a troubled kid back in my hometown. That's why my parents, they didn't know what else to do with me. That's why they sent me away abroad to the US. But it was definitely the best decision because I was in a boarding school and I learned a lot. I learned to become very disciplined. But so later on, almost half of my life, I'm just been all about education. I did my high school in the US, went to college, did my master, and finally got my dream job in the tech industry. Love it. I was working to become a PM, a product manager role. Right when, like 3 years after working for my company at that time, they basically told me they have to let me go because I'm still a international student, and they were working for my like green card, but they fail on the timeline. So resulting that I just have to either not employed at all, stay in the US, or go back to my hometown, work for them as a contractor. But being as a contractor, you're very risky. They could let you go, or anyway, you don't get a benefit as an employee. So it got me into a really dark period of my time. And that was 2021, October, right before the holiday season. So 5 months later, I came across digital marketing, same as everyone on TikTok, scrolling through. And I thought it was too good to be true, but I keep seeing ordinary people showing real results. That's when I decided, okay, if all these normal people are able to get the goal, like achieve their goal, I gotta see what this is all about. So when I started off, obviously I was struggling. And at that time, I was still trying to do UX design. So I was taking like courses from Google certification, trying to still be in the tech industry, move towards that kind of direction. At the same time, I'm trying to just do a side hustle, wishing that I could make like $500, $1,000 per month extra. But then I start seeing the potential in affiliate marketing. I'm so straight up when I started, I was trying to manage both. I would take my UX courses in the beginning, and then later on transition on like going through the challenge, going through the blueprint. But when I start seeing the potential, I drop UX design, start devoting the affiliate marketing, dove right in. And at the beginning, I was struggling. Took me 2.5 months until I received my first commissions. And that time I didn't subscribe. Legend Martyr had the pro affiliate, which you have to like pay $30-ish per month. So I didn't do that. I was like, I spent too much money on this. I just want to see if I can make enough money to eventually get the pro affiliate. So my first commission was only 70 cents. And the whole month after that, I was making a total of $37. But the fourth month, that's when I start reaching I broke my $1,000 goal. And then that's when I start getting 10K a month on the fifth month. And it has been such an amazing journey. I always talk about my story because of that, because I was consistent about it. I was able to make more than how much my tech salary used to pay me. I was able to just bought a one-way ticket, come back to my hometown and spend more time with my family, which I haven't seen for 4 years. So this has been such an amazing opportunity, and I won't change any of that.
You know, that's an amazing story. First of all, I want to say you're absolutely worthy of being on this show, and we really do appreciate your time. This is our first time meeting face to face, and it's a pleasure to meet you so far. As we get to know each other, one thing that is interesting in your story that you just told, thank you for sharing that, by the way, is the parallels that I immediately see with other people who have become successful, and that is a harsh realization, or I don't want to say traumatic event, but a life-changing event where you're laid off from your job. I mean, had you not gotten laid off, hindsight's 2020, of course, but had you not gotten laid off, that may have never allowed you to get to the path to where you are today, making more money than you did at your tech salary job. So just, if you could kind of take us through the feelings of getting laid off, not knowing what to do, and then what about digital marketing, affiliate marketing, and legendary marketer, other than the results that you already mentioned, what drew you in and made you think, okay, this is worth going after?
So first off, when I got laid off, that happens right before the holidays. So that was October. And I was actually kind of happy, to be honest, because I work at a tech startup, and I grind a lot, because I had to work and match with different, I had a different team in different countries. Some people in India, some people in China, some in England. So sometimes I have meetings like 7 a.m. and then the last one could end like 11 p.m. My roommate was like, your schedule is crazy, especially when we have like releases for the softwares. So when I got laid off, I was kind of relaxing, just focus on spending the holidays with my family. And then when I hit January, that's when the real life hits. Everyone going back to work, and I'm just like, oh, what I'm going to do now? So I just felt like I was being tossed aside. Like, I did everything by the book. I went to school, and every level of my education, I get some sort of awards, like either cum laude or like Dean's Award, because I follow by the book. So I'm really good with following instructions. So what really drove me towards like legendary marketer, when I first came across it, obviously I was very skeptical. And even though when I was struggling at that time, I think I just keep seeing people like showing their result, and I know that it's attainable, it's achievable. And the thing is, when I was just really good at following instruction. When I follow whatever the strategies in the blueprint, I didn't see result right away, but I see tractions. I saw, like, especially some of the trainings that they taught about TikTok store, looking at other people who are successful in your industry, what content does well to them. And they added more stuff too these days. So I saw they added, Andrea, you have like a few trainings about Instagram. They added those. I recently watched it too. I wish they would announce that they have new trainings that added on. Maybe they did. I just missed the emails. But anyways, so when I watch those and start implementing what I learned into my own journey, into my own business, and I start seeing traction, that gave me the confidence to keep moving forward. And I'm just like, it might not get to me yet, but it's going to get to me sooner or later, because I am seeing results. It doesn't matter it's small or big, but yeah, I celebrate no matter what. I hope that answers your question.
So
yeah, 100%.
You started digital marketing after you got laid off, or did you find this right before, or how did it happen? Like, what was the timeline?
Yeah, after. So
it was after. Okay.
Yeah, I laid off October, and then 5 months later, I think around February, that's when I that's when I came across it.
Yeah, and it's amazing, because even though you were having those instant results like so many other people have, you were still there every single day trying to learn and trying to make it work, right? That's why we're very similar with this situation, because I didn't get results right away either. Like, I think it took me like 6 months to make my first 10K, right? So it took me a little while to reach that level. But you knew that potential. I knew the potential that he had. Like just how you say, you see all these people having this success, ordinary people having success. So you're like, okay, if they can do it, then can I do it too? You know. I saw something that you posted. It was a video. You were, I think you were working with your boyfriend, and he was just telling a story about how he never thought that you were gonna be this successful with this business. Can you like elaborate to that video how it happened?
Yeah, we were that happened last week. We were walking towards so we got a really good location, and as you can see that it's not a green screen. Sometimes I'm online, people are like, is that green screen? I'm like, no, this is glasses. Like tong tong tong. Anyways, so we literally just walked from dinner, came back home, and dinner was literally right by the towel. So we had a really good location. But last week we walked to a spot which we could basically we were trying to work. Well, we did work, and it's like kind of like a bar. They serve drinks, they serve food, and really nice view. So when we were walking there, we took the elevator down, and Tom was saying something about, wow, if you had told me, and then I know his personality because he always get distracted, and then he would have a really long pause, and I'm like, and then so we were slowly walking out of the building, and he hasn't like get to his point. So, and I was like, oh, maybe I know exactly what he's about to say. I'm gonna film this. It's gonna be his raw moments. This is my second time like filming a raw moment of him being expressive about my journey and my result. So, and I'm trying to be descriptive. Like I don't want to let him know that I'm actually filming him because he's gonna be self-conscious. So I'm just trying to capture that raw moment. And yes, he was basically, we're walking, we're heading towards the direction where we want to work and hang out. And then he was like saying, like, if you were told me that you could, in a year, you'd be making $20,000 per month, I would say you're dreaming. So that's exactly what he said. So, and then I posted it and got some tractions. So, and I heard that somewhere said that if you can film like a third person point of view or like a raw moment, that shows that gives more, that's available content. So so yeah, and he's a funny guy, so it's very it's good to have him in my content sometimes.
You know, it kind of validates the opportunity from another perspective. And I think, you know, it's really an important lesson for marketers out there to realize that, you know, not everything has to be this facade where we're saying, yes, I did this and then I made all this money and it's great and stuff like that. You brought him in and showed real life, and obviously it works because it brings people in. It caught Andre's attention. It's the first piece of content that he mentioned in this podcast interview. So it's very powerful, and it probably a little bit scary for some people who don't like being the center of attention or don't like putting their life out there, but it's such a powerful part of your marketing in the way that we do this these days. So one thing I want to talk about is you mentioned in the beginning, you know, it took 2.5 months to make your first commission. It was only 70 cents. But, you know, then 2.5 more months later, you're up to 10K. But what you have mentioned is the traction. You've mentioned traction a couple of times. And to me, that's super important because when you're first getting started, when you're 2 months into it and you've invested $2,500 or $3,000 and you're not making that back yet, you have to look for the positive signs that show that, hey, this is working. As long as I maintain the belief and the consistency, this will work. This will come to me, I think you said. So what were some of the traction signals that you were looking for in the beginning, if you could think back, that kept you motivated and proved to you this is going to work?
Yeah. So followers, like straight on, like likes and followers. And I love TikTok platforms, even though they banned me multiple times. But TikTok, it's very easy to get like tractions, followers, leads. But the downside of that is that you just get leads. You still have to filter out to your own quality leads, and that's when you kind of convert into telling your story. So the strategy I've learned throughout like my whole year of doing this, it's like when you're starting out a new TikTok, it's just focus on growing. provide like value contents, provide like the growth style strategies kind of content, and the blueprint does a really good job on diving into those. And then later on, once you hit to thousands followers, that's when you start switching to getting your own kind of audience, building your community. So that's when you talk about your story, be kind of vulnerable. Doesn't mean that you have to cry every time when you talk about your story, but that's when you find your relatable audience. And that's where like I start going live. That's where I talk about those journey in my live stream and whatnot.
Yeah, that was actually the next topic that I wanted to talk about. You go live a lot and you do call it like mini webinars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any type of framework or how do you start a live call and then how do you basically get to the end of it?
Yeah. So when I first time going live, it was just I had no idea what I was doing. It was very awkward. But I'm more of an extrovert, so I'm not afraid to like put myself out there. But I also look at other people's content or like look at people who go live a lot, like what they do. So I start forming a framework in my head. Usually I go with my intro, and have a same thing as creating content, like have a really good hook at the beginning. You can talk about I have been talking about how this has made me like 20K plus month, but I'm also switch around, like play around. I would start talking about how this has transformed my life in a way that I could just buy a one-way ticket and spend like 2-3 months in my hometown with my family, because that has recently happened to me. So I'm changing the strategy a little bit, but the very beginning is have a really good hook, and then in the middle it's like bringing the value. It's like what this is about, because surprisingly, I mean, we're in this industry all the time, so we know about affiliate marketing, but a lot of people on TikTok, Instagram, they're very new. Like they had no idea what this is. They don't know Amazon have an affiliate program. They don't know Lululemon, Sephora has an affiliate program. So I talk about that, and I use my laptop as a prop to show like this is exactly where you can apply. Boom, it's real. And then I show other people's platform, like how people would promote like an Amazon product. And then I kind of go into my closing about, promoting like the training, promoting like where I learned it from, and if this is something that you want. And I always tell people that, hey, my goal is not for you to purchase this training. Like my goal is for you to be educated. Like there is this way to make money online that it has replaced my full-time job. It could or could not work for you, but at least get my free ebook. And like, I don't want to make it salesy. So I told people, yes, I took this training, but I want you to be informed and educated first. That's why I go live. That's why I have an ebook. If you can't attend my live, like at least read that free information, and you're further interested, that's where you can take the same training that I took. So yeah, that's kind of like my closing.
Yeah, that's very smart, because sometimes when people go to market, they forget that you need the setup first, right? And that could be a couple of different reasons. Either A, they're so excited to try to generate the lead once they see people, especially coming on the live. It's like, oh my gosh, there's 20 people on here. I want to get these people onto my email list. But you have to set it up first. You have to help people understand, and you have to show, not just tell. By pulling up your laptop and showing you here is where you apply for the Sephora affiliate program or the Amazon affiliate program. Here are other accounts that are doing. When you're showing it, people start to understand. And I think that we as digital marketers, especially with algorithms, forget that, hey, there are so many people who just have no idea what, even what affiliate marketing is, but we feel like everybody does because our feeds are filled with other marketers as well, because it's obviously what we're interested in. So you really have to do a good job of showing, not just telling, showing people how to get started, what's the potential, what it really means to be an affiliate marketer, what is an affiliate link. Now, you mentioned your ebook as an alternative for people to go digest your content when they're unable to watch a live, or after they watch your live and want to know more. We had a guest on yesterday who will end up being the episode published before yours, but she's talking about her ebook as well. And Andrea and I are both like, oh, shoot, we got to get our ebooks together. Maybe if you could, like, what's in your ebook? What sort of flow is there? What sort of topics do you cover? And how do you think it really helps facilitate the eventual conversion?
Yeah, so my very first ebook was only 2 page long. And that's something I learned from the training as well. Like keep it short because you want people to get right into the preview of the training, like the Dave's 20 minutes video. So I kept it very short and right to the point. But when I go live and I say that, hey, check out my ebook, there's a ton of value. And then now I think about it, that time when I think about it, it's only 2 pages. So it's really hard to market. So I revamped it into 11 pages long. And obviously I have looked at other people's ebook and pick things that was relate to me and put it into my own. So ebook, it's simply like with an intro of myself. Again, I'm trying to keep everything to short and concise. And then later on, explain what affiliate marketing is. And then later on with the call to action, like if you want to learn more, this training is what got me the result I have today. And yeah, I don't have much like testimonial within my ebook because on my sales funnel at the bridge page, that's where I have all the testimonials. So yeah, that's how I arranged it.
And then does your ebook, your call to action, send people over to your bridge page funnel then? Or does it send people directly to like the Legendary Marketer sales page?
The ebook, it's to the sales page.
Okay. And then how does that complement your video content? Because one thing that I've been wrestling with in my mind is that video content's great, but we don't always have time to sit down and watch videos. We don't always have time to sit down and turn the volume on our phone even, right? We consume content sometimes with the volume off, I think. So do you feel like it really gives people an opportunity to kind of digest the content on your own time? Or do you think there's another benefit to having the ebook, or don't you really know?
I'm not sure if I 100% understand your question. So
yeah. So like, obviously some people are going to watch your content. They're going to watch your TikToks. They're going to go find the link in the bio, right? And they're going to go over to your funnel and they're going to buy on day one. But there's also a large portion of the population or a large portion of your audience that is like, I'm not ready to make a decision yet. So I guess I just am looking for validation from the ebook folks out there. You know, do you think it has given people the opportunity to kind of look at things on their own terms? And if so, like it's going to continue to be a big part of your marketing, right?
Yeah, got it. So the ebook, I sent it out when they like opt in at the opt in page, put on their name, email address. So that's when we'll send it to them. When they look at my content, I kind of bring like make it interesting. I bring curiosity into when my audience like view my content. They'll be like, okay, like this girl is making this claim. What's it about? And when they read, sometimes I have a call to action in my content. Sometimes it's in my caption. So when they go to the link in my bio, which is my call to action, they will find out the ebook after they put down their name and email address. So the way I see it is with the content is where you drive traffic, get leads, and then people who are truly interested will be the one who sign up and get the ebook. And people who are very, very interested, that's where they will get the training. So as a digital marketer, what I see that when you create content, you are giving, like you're providing solutions to people. So your content, in the wealth niche, it's gonna be something talk about how this has changed your life, make it interesting, entertaining, educational, motivating, and then spike their curiosity, and that's where call to action, get them to click on the link in my profile. Yeah.
Excellent. That's where I was hoping that we were getting to, because I wanted to help pass along to the audience kind of the psychology of the flow. So that was an excellent answer. Thank you. I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Andre now.
So that would be like the perfect world, right? Somebody watches your content, goes to your link in bio, reads the ebook, and then purchase, right? So what about those people that don't go through that process? Maybe they're opting, but then you're doing your email marketing, right? Maybe they don't opt in, but they want to ask questions before. So do you have any type of conversations with people before that?
Yeah. So sometimes, depending on call to action, I would either tell them to like DM me or comment or just check out my ebook. So for people who send me direct messages right away, so there's one thing that I do. I set up this auto respond if they select. So when they want to DM me, you both probably familiar with it. If you are a creator account on Instagram, when they about to message you, there's a selection of questions, like most commonly asked questions. If they select a specific question, I will have like an auto-generated answer to those people, to those specific questions. So people who are like, I'm interested. So some of the selected questions, like, I'm interested, can you tell me more about affiliate marketing? And then my auto respond will be like, thanks for reaching out. Like, sure, happy to. And I would filter out like their background and whether or not they're quality leads, because of depending on location, it may not be available. So first thing I will ask, where are you located? What do you do? Like whether or not they have like they're employed or they're high school student, or they lost their job, or they're working for someone, and tell me about your goal. So I kind of asked the first two questions that was important to me, and then I turn around to make them sound like I want to hear about what's their goal. So those like the three commonly asked questions, like or response that I would ask them. It's an auto-generated response, and they would know it's an auto response because it respond really fast. So after those questions, I would have a parenthesis and said, by the way, this is an auto-generated response, but I promise I'll get back to you. So that ties back a little bit about like my authority, that I am busy, but I will get back to you. And obviously the next day I would look at the response and get back to those people. So yeah, at the beginning, most of the time it's going to be auto-generated response depending on the question they ask. And then later on, if they are qualified, so if they're not qualified, they're not qualified leads, I do have like a YouTube channel, which I post about like one-on-one affiliate marketing. It's like a good like 30 to 45 minutes tutorial. So I would lead them to my YouTube channel. But for the qualified leads, I would start sending a voice recording or voice memo, said, hey, like, this is what I do. If you're interested, let me know. I can send you the link. Obviously, I go more in depth in that. But yeah, that's the general structure.
Yeah, we started talking about the auto response Instagram tool back in episode 20 when Tyler Wise was on. So if you want to learn more about that and you're listening, make sure you check out that episode afterwards. But really what you're doing is just super smart, because you're using this as a qualification tool. And what happens is people want to message you, and you're basically giving them, four potential questions that they can ask. And you're making them select the question that they have on the forefront of their mind, right? They're telling you their number one concern, or their number one objection, or their number one curiosity point, or whatever. And then you're sending a specific response back to them that is directly in line with that particular question. And then using that as the tool to say, okay, cool, these are the people I need to follow up with manually. So I mean, it's just brilliant. And if you're not doing it, it's worth looking into, because I mean, it probably saves you a ton of time, and it probably increases the conversion rate of the people you actually speak with. Is that correct?
100%. Yeah. I know, Andrea, you hire VA to do this for you. I get to a point that I'm actually considering it, because today I spend, like, when I dedicate my time to, okay, I'm going to do this, spend this hour to respond DM, spend this another hour to respond emails, and then I'm going to start creating content. But by the time I finish my messages DM, I just felt so sleepy. I'm also like working from like my comfort of my home. Like I was in my bed just responding it. So like, yeah, it's a good problem to have, but I think the auto generated help out a lot. But at one point, I still want to bring out the personal side of my voice, my personality. That's why I did a voice record or voice memo over. So yeah, I felt like if I were to hire a VA, like I don't know how I could hire someone who has a similar voice than I do. So that's like some of the good problems to have, but eventually I have to think about a solution.
Yeah, when I decided to hire my VA, like I was spending 5 to 6 hours just replying to messages every single day. And after doing that for a year and a half, it just got too like tiring, and I hated talking to people after that, just because I did it every single day. So it definitely did help me finding somebody that could actually communicate with people the same way that I do.
Good question. So
Yeah.
now, do you does your VA help you respond with basically like messages, or do you ever do voice record to your
Yeah.
Mhm.
So she usually sends when there's something that I need to get to, she sends me like a text or something where I go and I reply with my voice or whatever I have to do, right? Like if there's a question that she doesn't really know the answer. But other than that, she knows how to basically talk like me. She knows how to respond to my comments. She knows how to respond to any type of leads that come through. Like if I do a poll on my Instagram, she's able to see and get those leads into the DMs. So then she's the one that follows through doing all of that. And you have to train them, like they don't really know what they're doing basically, especially with the business. So the moment that you train them, then it becomes much easier for you. It makes your life easier for sure. But I wanted
Yeah.
to bring it down to earth a little bit. You mentioned that your parents were the ones that sent you away
Mhm.
when you were young, I guess, and then you found your own type of success, and now you say that you bought a one plane ticket back home just to be close to them. I want to know like their perspective, like what are they thinking, or like now that they see that you're super successful, what is their thinking about it?
Yeah, so at this point, they still can't really wrap around like what I'm doing. They knew that I used to work in tech, and they were very excited for that. And when I told them I'm doing this now, and they're like, oh, "Okay." And then it's funny because last week or 2 weeks ago, I think last week, I was hanging out with them, and in the Chinese culture, like it's very common that like the parents pay for everything, like when you go out to dinner, everything. And so yeah, I was hanging out with my parents, and I'm like, okay, I got us, like the check's coming. I mean, we're just having brunch. And my mom was like, no, no, like you came all the way. I was like, no worries. I had a four-figure commission today. And my mom was like, what? Like in USD? I'm like, yeah. And then because that happened before, I think 2 days ago, before that happened, I was like, I had a $2,000 commissions. My mom was like, what? And then so like that day when I paid a check, he's like, oh, again? And then I was like, yes. So I mean, obviously they're very happy for my success. And they're just very glad that I'm able to be home with them and spend more time. And they notice the difference, and they see that I have that flexibility. So it's definitely something like we very appreciate the time that I have now with them.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. And I'm glad you brought up your background there, because I was going to get to that at one point. That is a pretty impressive background for your Zoom calls and your podcast interviews and some of your content, I'm sure. But speaking of your location, I would assume that a majority of your customers are not from Malaysia. So if you could just kind of speak to us about some of the struggles, or not struggles, or maybe challenges, this is a better word, that you face being in that particular time zone. I think you're about 13 hours ahead of the US. Is that right?
Yeah, the way I calculate it is like 12 hours. So my time is the same as New York time. So,
Just the
but the
opposite.
opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now it's like 10:38 a.m. Eastern time zone.
Eastern time, yeah.
And I was in, yeah, the West Coast, so I did like a calculation. So usually I would try to focus like I would take I'll focus like in the morning time to do my posting, to do my DMs. Well, DMs I do throughout the day, but my posting it will be during the day, and then I also try to do right before I go to bed a few of those with so yeah, that's where I handle my content part. But I also have been getting a whole ton of people from, unfortunately, Malaysia is one of the block country with the product that I'm promoting. So I have to turn away a lot of people, and I feel so bad. And I just reach out to Joanne, uh, say if there's any way it could be opened up to country here, because obviously it's my motherland, and I do have sentiment with like people who reach out to me, and they're very genuine and want to learn. And so so yeah, like each day I have like 100 to 200 people who opting into my email automation, and I just have to manually delete them every day, because otherwise it's going to add up to my cost. So that's the struggle that I'm having now. Hopefully one day this could be available in some of the block countries. Yeah.
Yeah, the same with me. Like, there's people that ask me like for Spanish courses, right? So then I'm creating my Spanish course just to help the Spanish community. So maybe that's something that you want to do in the future. Maybe you can have something in your language, right, to help them. and then it will be like something that you create on your own. So that could be a possibility too.
Yeah, that's a question that I'm saving to ask you both later. Like I am always wondering like what is the career path like in this industry? What I've seen so far, people who are doing really successful, either they would continue to become affiliate for other companies or they start with their own course. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you want to save it for later, but any advice on that would be
Yeah, I mean, since you brought it up, let's just dive right into it because I think it's interesting. So I'll give my take on it first. So I've been an affiliate marketer since 2012. That was when my daughter was born, and that's when I did that first Google search, right? How do you make money online? Because I was in the restaurant industry at the time, and I loved the restaurant industry, and I wanted to continue managing restaurants, and then I wanted to someday open my own restaurant. I loved it and still do, but the problem is the restaurant industry is very demanding on your time, right? You're not only working long hours, but you're working crazy hours. And I realized I would never see my family and I'd miss my kids growing up. So that's how I got started with affiliate marketing. And then in 2015, 2016, 2017, and even really into 18, I built a very successful affiliate marketing business. Much the same way that we do now, creating content, promoting offers, building email lists, all that stuff. Now, at the time, there was no TikTok, so I focused primarily on YouTube. But then in 2019, I did get that a little bit of boredom. I got that itch, maybe, or maybe I got too full of myself, and it was like, wow, I'm a genius. Maybe I should start creating courses and stuff that can help people and email marketing and brand building and stuff like that. And it really depends on where your passion lies, because I was not super passionate about that, and I successfully blew up my business and took it almost down to zero. Obviously we had money saved up, so it was okay, but yeah, it got pretty scary there in 2019. And then in 2020 I went back to Legendary Marketer. In February 2020 I started going with Legendary Marketer, and obviously that's been going very well. Now, since I have created my own course in the affiliate marketing industry and or space, and I love it, but I think it really comes down to resist the temptation for shiny objects, right? We always talk about that with our clients or potential leads. Like, you can't get shiny object syndrome before the success happens, because you'll just be caught in a constant loop of never following through. Well, the same thing happens when you are successful. You have to resist shiny object. And, I like to say, embrace the boredom. If things are working, then continue to work them, right? Like there's no need to do something to quit something that's working. But the bottom line, the end all and the last bit of advice is it's really hard to avoid, because when you become successful, when you're helping so many people like you are, Steffi, when you have this following that, adores your insight, your training, and even really likes your boyfriend when he comes on and tells stories and stuff like that, obviously you're getting an outpouring of love. And when you're on the leaderboards, you get an outpouring of love from the Legendary Marketer community. And it feels great and it's awesome. It means you're doing the right things, but it also can lead you to start thinking that you're so important, or that people care about you. And I'm not saying this to be harsh, but I'm saying this like looking internally at myself. People don't give a shit about you. You know what I mean? They care about what you can do for them. So if you do switch, if you do decide to do something, make sure it's not about you and how brilliant you are and all the knowledge that you can share. Make sure it's a need that exists in the market that can help other people. And once I kind of like, oh yeah, I've made this mistake 3 times. Now I know, it's like, okay, am I doing something that is going to provide value and help people? If so, guess what? It's going to turn into money. So like Andre said, if creating something that was directed towards the folks of Malaysia, that could help them, that was open to them, that was available to purchase, might be a logical next step, right? You know what I mean? Stepping away from Legendary Marketer and creating your own affiliate marketing course for the masses might not be the logical next step. So hopefully that insight helps you out a little bit.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, you have to ask yourself, like what is it that you want to do, Like for example, for me, I always wanted to create my own course, but I just hate coaching. That's just something that I just don't have the time for it, because it will make me feel like I'm working again. Like I didn't just quit my job just to try to get to feel like I'm working again, basically somewhere else, like trading my time for money. Um, but yeah, just ask yourself if that's something that you want to do. This course that you might want to do might be like a good complement to Legendary Marketer as well. Just how Brian, his course is a really good complement to Legendary Marketer as well. But yeah, I think you have to just think about it, ask yourself those questions, and go from there. And as far as the success that you had so far, I'm sure if you put your mind to something, you're gonna get it accomplished.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't really been kind of venturing out like other affiliate program, but that's my other worry. Like how can you promote it without confusing your audience? Like what's the strategy? Is it purely just from email, or like do you create a brand new social media to promote that kind of program?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
so
it's 100% through email. So,
Okay.
for example, you're going to get a situation where you have leads coming in every day and they go through some sort of automation system, some sort of conversion process. And, there's two schools of thought here. So, I know from promoting Legendary Marketer that most people who buy into the $7 Business Builder Challenge convert to the blueprints in like the 8 to 12 day window. Now, obviously 60 to 70 to 75% of your money is going to come from the blueprint commission. So that's an important, revenue engine there. And then beyond that, you won't see as many conversions after that 12 to 14 day window. However, you probably know that you also get those 3-month conversions where it's like they've kind of gone through at their own pace. And then 3 months later, they decide to jump into the blueprint. So one school of thought is that, hey, just keep marketing the same thing again and again and again and again and again and again until someone unsubscribes, knowing that, hey, now you've got all these people as your list grows who are kind of on the fence. And that's kind of what helps the snowball effect, if you will, or the exponential growth that you've already probably seen. But the other school of thought is, hey, by the time you get to 30 days of follow-up about the same program, 95% of your list is tuned out, right? They're ad blind, so to speak. Where it's like, I'm done listening about this. It's not for me. They've already made their decision. Well, okay. So if you're gonna just forsake 95% of your list at that point, that seems like kind of a waste of an opportunity. So what I say is, if you are going to promote something else, don't create more social media, because then instead of focusing 100% of your creative efforts on your main account, now you're putting 50% of your efforts on your main account, 50. And so it's like both accounts just suffer and you don't get traction, you don't get growth, and it ends up killing them both. So if you're looking to promote something else, then extend another 30-day window after the first 30 days where you promote something else. But just remember, like, once people exit your first automated sequence or your first 30 days of follow-up, they're not going to automatically just jump on the next thing. They're going to need time to warm up to it, just like they do with whatever you're promoting on the front end. So it's like, okay, maybe in month 2, now I promote program B, but I hit it hard for 30 days. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. That 100% makes sense.
yeah, like I was so scared in the beginning too when I was promoting Legendary, and I decided to promote something else. So I had the same. I was afraid of having that confusion with my list, right? So what I did in the beginning, because I was afraid, was I created a new list. So I separated the list. So it was a Legendary Marketer list, and I had a different programs list for my email marketing. And then I did different accounts on social media. So basically, I kept my Legendary people right here, and I kept my other product right here. So I kept them separate, and I did that for, I don't know, 6 months, I guess you can say that. And it worked. I mean, I was getting commissions from both sides, right? But just how Brian said, all those people that were still thinking about Legendary Marketer, they never had that extra option to go somewhere else. Maybe they did, go through the program, but they didn't find the results that they wanted. So then for those people, they're just stuck with those no results type of thing, instead of offering something else that it could work even better for them, depending where they were in their life and their aspect of their business. So I don't know if I would just keep them separate. But if not, um, in the beginning, like I said, in the beginning I did that, but after that I just combine everything, and then I rather have them buy A or B, you know what I mean, instead of just buying A or not buying nothing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We got really, I get really scared about confusing the audience, right? Because I always say the confused buyer doesn't buy. But what Andre just said there, and that's why I kind of wanted to jump in. I didn't mean to cut you off, but back in episode 10, Igor Kafetz, who's a brilliant marketer, he was on, and he addressed that in that episode where he said exactly what Andre said. He's like, yeah, there is some confusion when you're promoting multiple products, because his model is he sells his own product up front with ads. So that grows his list. His product basically creates a buyer's list, but then also pays for his ads. It's a self-liquidating offer. And then via email, he promotes launches and other products and stuff like that. And so that's his model. And he's been very successful with it. And that's exactly what he said. He's like, yeah, there is a little bit of confusion, but I'd rather have them buy A or B rather than A or nothing. So a lot of things to consider, but really interesting insight from Andre and Igor.
Yeah, thank you. That's so much value. I'm definitely going to look into that. And another thing that I need to work on is building my email campaign. I have a large list now, but I know the power of email campaign. I used to be the kind of don't agree. I disagree about email campaign, email marketing, because I see it as it's just spam emails. Because I will be the kind of person would opt in to like a retail store for the 20% off or the new member free shipping off. But then later on, I will find those email like very annoying. I would unsubscribe them manually. But ever since I just I followed the instruction. Like I said, like I was very good at following instruction. I just built an email list because the trading taught me to. And a lot of my conversions happen in the email list. And I also do broadcasts once in a while, and those are very powerful as well. On Valentine's Day, all of a sudden I decided to send out an email. So Ledger Marketer, they have a $1 offer. So this past Valentine's Day, I said, it's a very short email. I said, this is my favorite holiday, or not really holiday, but favorite day. So I want to give you this offer for $1 today. And the next day I woke up with $97. So I have 97 leads, all with those $1 offer. I'm like, wow. So I think broadcast is also important, like for the listeners here who are new to this or don't take email automation seriously. Whenever you have like a life-changing moment, like such as when I just moved back to Malaysia, able to spend more time with my family, like I send out those broadcasts. I sometimes don't even like have a call to action. I'm even given any offers, but I just want to tell my audience the story of like where I'm at now with my journey. So again, it's a way to build a community as well with the email.
Yeah, and I think that's important to note for people who maybe are new to marketing. You sent that Valentine's Day broadcast. It was relevant, so it probably stuck in people's mind. It probably caught their attention with the headline or whatever. It was relevant to what was going on, and you generated 97 $1 sales. And there might be some people out there who are kind of new to the marketing game thinking $97, but what that is that's 97 customers. That's 97 buyers. So let's say the average lifetime value of a buyer through Legendary Marketer is $80. That means you sent a $7,760 email. So that's why broadcasts are worth sending, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't sleep on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. To finish off this interview, is there any type of advice you can give to a brand new beginner?
Yeah. So I would say, I think as cheesy as it sounds, believe in yourself. It's so important because a lot of times we would hope that we will hope something that will happen. But when you're hoping something, you're just hoping that tomorrow will have a clear sky. You will hope that you will make a lot of money by the age of 35, 40s, but you're not taking action. But when you believe in yourself, you believe this would work, that change your mindset, and that allows you to take the energy that you put into your action. That's what makes a difference. And I would say like celebrate your wins no matter what. Like even if you gain an extra follower, you gain an extra likes in your content, like those are powerful as well. Like anything that you could celebrate and keep you motivated, like just stick with that. And sometimes people would reach out to me and say like they're really afraid to start this. And I would say like don't give yourself too much pressure, because like at the end of the day, you either find out like the worst case scenario is going to be you either find out that you're not making money as fast as you can, or you find out that this doesn't work for you. So that is the worst case scenario. So there's no end of the world to doing this. You just gotta you when you start believing in yourself, that's when you're gonna see the difference. And don't be too worried that what the worst case scenario, what's gonna happen if you can't be successful in this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. And I mean, really the secret to success, because not only does it keep you motivated, but one thing about marketing is your leads, your prospects, your audience. In order for them to buy, they have to not only believe in the possibility, they have to believe in their ability to make it work, but they also have to believe that you believe. The person they're turning to, they have to believe that they believe this is possible. And if you come out here and say, yes, I 100% believe in affiliate marketing, even if you haven't had the monetary results yet, then that's going to transfer through in your content, and it's going to excite people, and it's going to get them to take action, and good things are going to happen. So that was amazing. So one thing, you asked a great question earlier. We always like to give the opportunity as a thank you for our guests to ask any more questions of us. And so feel free to do so if you want. We're not going to limit you to the one question, and you didn't use them all up. So if there's anything else, please feel free to do so. But also, if you could just kind of tell everybody who's listening where they can follow you, where they can find you on the internet.
Yeah. So boss.bay.steph, STEPH. That is my account name for both my Instagram and my TikTok handle. Yeah. So that's where you can find me. Awesome. And I do have one more other question. I actually had four, but I'm going to trim down to two, because it's really hard to, like, I mean, you both, like, whatever you speak, you're dropping gold here. So what practices and actions are key for your business to be successful? And to elaborate on that, like if you didn't do that one thing, you won't get that result you have today. And I'm hoping to get something that's more tangible rather than like a quality, like a mindset stuff. So anything you could share, that would be great.
Yeah, for me, it was mostly consistency. If you're not consistent, then nothing's gonna work. And work ethic. I mean, I had people that I was coaching back in 2021 in September. I was coaching like 4 people, so I did it for a whole month. And then most of those people, they didn't keep going with the coaching, right? It kind of got me upset because it's not like they didn't go through the coaching, but they just didn't put in the work that I was telling them to put in the work, like how to create more content and how to do this. And it got to the point where from September, it went all the way to January. And then one of those persons that I was coaching told me, like, nobody can be your work ethics, nobody can be your consistency, because every single day I was showing them what they were supposed to be doing. But at the end of the day, they never did it, you know? So it's like you just gotta keep showing up, and then your followers will also see that. And I think that's one of the ways that I was able to be super successful with this business, because every single day I was there for them and for myself.
100%. I agree with that.
Yeah. And I see it as kind of a micro versus a macro, right? On the micro level, it's all consistency. It's improving the quality of your content. It is connecting, even if at scale. Connecting doesn't mean that you have to talk to everybody who DMs you, but like just connecting with your audience. That's the micro. But for me, the macro is where I see the one thing that if I didn't do this, I probably would have had success at some point, because I have that work ethic where I'm just going to try and try and try and try and try. And if I fail 5,000 times, then I'll get it on 5,001. So I probably would have seen some success at some point. But the thing that is on the macro level that has allowed me to not only sustain success, but be in this business, in this industry for 11 years now, going on 12 years, is the two words that immediately jump to my mind is abundant inventiveness. And we talked about this on the last episode a little bit too. And I got this from Russell Brunson, and I'll just repeat it again. Your ability or the ability to create abundant inventiveness in yourself will determine the longevity of your time in this business. Because, you know, if you do all the things that the blueprints say, if you build your funnel and you create your content and you start by getting reach first and then growth and then focus on building the relationships at scale and the community and all that stuff, you're going to see success. But there's going to come a time, whether it's 6 months in, 8 months in, a year and a half in, where people will get bored of you. You know, it's why there's one-hit wonders. It's why when you think about actors in Hollywood, you know, you think about George Clooney and Julia Roberts, and the list of people who've been doing this for 30 years is not very big, right? Because we get bored of people. Even people like, you know, Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears, who were at the height of stardom. They were even now they're kind of not relevant. It's all Taylor Swift now, right? Like my wife and daughter just went to the Taylor Swift concert, so she's kind of on the forefront of my mind. So it's like, if these mega stars lose the interest of their audience, what chance do we have as just ordinary folks, right? Well, our chance is the abundant inventiveness. That doesn't mean we have to promote a new product every 6 months. It's just like, how could we show a different angle, right? Like, okay, so maybe you're promoting with a, you know, content to bridge page to email list, and that works for a while, and then you see it to start to go down. Well, for example, right now, even though I have my own program, I'm doing on the side a little legendary marketer case study where I started a brand new Instagram account and seeing if I can get that up to my first $2,500 in commissions. Am I going to rely on the commissions from that new account? No. I mean, I'll take the money. Don't get me wrong, but I already said, you know, don't spread yourself too thin in your content. But the reason I'm doing that is to re-engage my list of 60, 70, 80,000 people who've been with me for years, who have, some have bought, some have not, some have been on the fence. And if I can just show them a new way, like, hey, watch, I'm going to prove to you this works, right? Or maybe it's creating a free course instead of an ebook. It's just it's abundant inventiveness. It's a different angle. It's a different front door to the same. And I think that on the macro level is the biggest thing that has allowed me to sustain success, which I'm more proud of than any monetary dollar amount that I've ever made in a month, week, or day.
Awesome. I really like that. So consistency and abundant inventiveness. In a way, those could be like the opposite of each other, because consistency, what I've noticed is that you just keep kind of posting the same content or in the different environment. But sometimes I look at the words of other like successful affiliates, it's almost the same. The wordings are the same. But then you got to be that consistent because it's still convert. But then you still have to think about a different angle and different way to produce that kind of content and different strategy to get your leads into buying customers, or even have your customer get the upsells. So those are really good goals you just dropped there. Thank you so much.
Cool. So with Steffi, we appreciate your time. I know it's late over there. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate you guys. And I wish someday I could meet you both in person.
Well, with the view that you got outside there, I might be packing the family up and coming out to Malaysia in the next year or so. So if we just drop by, have some lunch, go out to dinner at that nice restaurant with the view, that might be fantastic.
You should. I would definitely host you.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully we'll run into each other, maybe at an event or something like that. I don't do a whole lot of them, but I'm sure there'll be opportunities. Either way, it was a pleasure to meet you and get to know you today. I really do appreciate it. And thank you all, or thank you to all the listeners who stuck with us through this amazing episode. And we'll see you all on the next episode of the Evolved Marketing Podcast.
Bye, everybody.